Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is December 2nd, 2022, and today is Friday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, we're watching the euro break above that 200-day moving average with some decent volume. That's major news. But first, looking at the major economic events of today, 3:30 South African time, second to last NFP coming out of the United States. This is a very important number as the Fed still has one interest rate decision for the rest of the year in order to stimulate some economic growth. Now, looking at the various markets, starting out with the Forex symbols, the US dollar continues to slide versus the major pairs, while the indices, both the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ, awaiting this NFP. Looking at commodities, gold explodes above 1800, while oil remains slightly stronger. Now, looking at the stocks, they're mixed. CISCO trading above its 200-day moving average, while JP Morgan slumps. Lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin just steady and unchanged. Let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go. We're looking at the Euro USD. And look at this nice pivot above. Now, we struggled with it for quite some time. Did make a wedge formation. This is called a wedge formation. And usually these type of situations, you have some sort of breakout. Actually, it was a right triangle, to tell you the truth. If we look at that, let's see it again. I want to show it to you because this is really important for future reference. When you have this double top and then you have higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, that's usually what happens. You usually break to the upside, and that was a wedge formation that was just a breakout. Okay, so it's at these levels. We do have some resistance at 106, so just be aware of it as this continues to trade. GBP USD, still the dollar trading lower at 122 versus the GBP. GBP getting stronger. Now, looking at the Australian dollar, also getting stronger here. If we look at a daily, finally making it out and breaking out as well. Even though it didn't break out as strong as the rest of the pairs, it is still breaking out. Now, looking at commodities, first looking at gold, look at that breakout finally above that 1770-ish level, and once we took it out, we completely took it out to 1800. Now this is resistance-ish level, and we are flirting with that 200-day moving average. If you look at it right there, it's flirting right there. So it doesn't mean that it's cleared, but it does mean that it's up there. Okay, so just keep a mind of this if it does falter today. Now, crude oil did spike yesterday to $83. Now this came back $10 within the week. Amazing rally there, and then tapering off to $81. So it's still strong, but it is tapering off. So just keep that in mind as we're going into today's session. Now, looking at the US markets, starting out, let's go into the Dow Jones. That was the NASDAQ. We're looking at a 4-hour chart. Okay, so right here we have just clearly an upwards trend. Nothing has been broken except this should have stayed in the same trend line, and it's not. Okay, it's trading sideways, not meaning that it's going to correct itself and going to go down, but just be aware of it. Okay, the market is overbought at these levels, to tell you the truth, in my humble opinion, because if we look at a weekly chart, let's look at a daily first, give us perspective here. We got to 34,700. We're trading right now at 34,400-ish level. So we're above 300 points below our high. Now, we did not sustain this momentum that we had previously. Now, meaning to say, we could still say, oh, this is a new trend line, because we had this trend line initially that we did break. So we're right there, okay, which means we're tapering off in the velocity of the upwards trend. Doesn't mean we're going down, but it does mean that we're trading off the velocity of it. Now, we have NFP today, we have the following week, we have CPI, and then we have the rate statement from the FOMC, the last one of the year. So lots coming up this month. For December, it's usually a rally month, but just be aware, okay? The markets are trying to sustain themselves going into the end of the year, and that's exactly what's happening. So just keep that in mind. Now, the NASDAQ, not that strong. Did perk up, but not that strong. So I'm a little bit weary on the NASDAQ moving forward. Tech stocks are slumping across the board. So if we look at them specifically, okay, besides Cisco, they're not just breaking out higher. Apple's just trading sideways, okay? That's a big company. It's one of the bigger companies. Facebook did get stronger, okay, mind you, and this is something to take note of. as it's looking to close that gap, okay, as it's getting to that 128-ish level. Microsoft also gained and broke out, but still farther from its 200-day moving average. But looking on the flip side, CISCO did break that 200-day moving average. Now, that 200-day moving average is not really so aggressive because it's not really a true value for it, but it did break out, okay? So it's still relatively strong. However, looking on the flip side, okay, another bellwether, Intel, bounced, but by much, not by much, and only $4 off of our lows for Intel. Now, Intel is also a major company, so we're getting a lot of mixed reviews here as to what's going on in the markets. Now, lastly, looking at JP Morgan, tapered off. This was the strongest one on the board, and now it's tapering off. So a lot of mixed information here. It's not so certain that we're going to go higher so quickly because we did, I mean, you know, between October 10th to where we are now, December 4th or December 2nd right now, we have come up some tremendous levels. So you might see some selling off, people taking their money off the table. It's been a roller coaster of a year, and this is an opportunity for them to do so. So just keep that in mind. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, just tapering off at 17,000, just below 17,000. So not much doing here, to be anticipated as it did retreat. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day and a beautiful weekend.